Welcome to Sober in the States. We are back with another 2025 Major League Soccer season preview. And I'm not going to lie, I'm not necessarily excited for this one, but it's a big one. It's a huge one. They are spending because they sold a bunch last year. They were sitting on a bag of cash and they spent it well. We have Atlanta United. We are here. Alex is here with us. We are one sleep away from the drop of the new MLS cards on Sorare, so that's exciting. And of course, what would an Atlanta United show be without the number one Mickey fan himself, Thomas, MLS So Rare Scout? Thomas, how the heck are we doing?
Pretty good. It's been a fantastic winter for Atlanta United. I think if you'd asked me how it was going to go at the start, I wouldn't have said it would went this well. This is sort of the fairy tale window, I would call it. Is how I'm feeling right now.
Well, there you go. Now all they need to do is put it together on the pitch and get some wins, but that's not necessarily the easiest thing in Major League Soccer. But as always, we're going to get into it. We're going to get into the departures, the arrivals, the stacks you should be building, all those fun stats, like who's taking the corners, who's going to get you those points to take you all the way to a podium. So, Alex, if you want to go ahead and bring it up, and Thomas, we're going to go through these departures first. Let us kind of know the big ones that left, the ones that you think are really going to impact as they left, and then we'll go from there. So what stood out to you?
Yeah, so we have probably, I think it's the biggest window in terms of transfers out in MLS history. So converting this into US dollars, it's just north of 50 million total dollars from that summer window. So you take Thiago Almada, you take Caleb Wiley, Yorgos Giacomakis. I think Santi was actually a winter transfer out, but there was also the transfer of Barco to Spartak Moscow, and there was a transfer sell-on fee that Atlanta got for that as well. So yeah, it was a lot of money. Left a big hole in the team. I think a lot of people were questioning what we were going to do during the time that we didn't have anyone. We did bring in Moranchuk, sure, but there's still a lot of questions around, well, is Moranchuk all that's needed right now for this team to be successful? And I think what you saw was that he is part of the equation, but there was definitely missing pieces of two more designated player spots that needed to be filled to really put this team together on paper.
Yeah, things got really bad once those summer transfers left. And hey, but you found it. You went on a little dream run, right? There was a little dream run into the playoffs, but didn't last very long because a better team kind of came along. But
we still had our fun.
It's all that matters as long as they're having fun out there. Alex, does anything stick out to you as the departures itself? Obviously, Thiago Almada being like the biggest one, but like, what was the one that really stood out to you?
Well, for me, it's the other two most expensive transfers that they had. Wiley first, just because I think it was crazy how much money they got for him. We were talking about before the show. It's just like 10 million is definitely probably more than double what he's actually worth. But Chelsea came in with the bag, and you kind of can't say no when they do that. And then Gigi, who I've been watching a lot in Mexico, I think that was worth it, but you know how good he was. I think if you go back and look at some of our shows from last year, preview shows for the season, some of us had him as our golden boot and our MVP picks. And so that kind of shows you how much hype that he had. And then he was sold off during the summer. But yeah, I think like, although these are three of their best players leaving, it opened up the door for guys to come in, and that's kind of what matters. And we knew that Almada was going to leave at some point. I think Gigi, it was like kind of you would have thought, but it ended up happening, and sort of as it got closer, you kind of figured out. But Wiley was kind of weird. Like we knew he was going to leave, but it was kind of just sudden. Like the offer came in, and it was like, oh, Wiley's gone. And so,
yeah, and I think like for two of those players, for Thiago Almada and Yorgos Giacomakis, so I don't know if I don't want to call it shade necessarily, but one of the things that the club president, Garth Lagerwey, has talked about is he wants players here for the long term. He's not trying to do the former model, which was we were trying to find that next big thing out of South America or wherever and flippity for a big profit. Yes, it worked out, although I would think we had higher aspirations for how much we wanted that Almada's transfer fee to be originally. But Giakoumakis, I thought was fantastic business. I think we got more than double what we paid for him whenever we transferred him from Celtic. And then, yeah, you have an offer come in for Caleb. It's from a Premier League club. It's, he's going to go on the loan train to wherever. I think he's at Watford now. But the amount of money, the structure there for him to grow as a player and to continue to elevate himself to get more looks from the U.S. men's national team. It's a great story for the club as well, just to be like, hey, in our second homegrown transfer, we sent a player to one of the top Premier clubs. And I mean, it's top clubs in the world, really. It's hard to say. You can't say no to that, especially for the amount of money they're offering for him. So I think it's just business savvy moves. And I think what's one of the things that's interesting about MLS is that it is a league where you do have to focus on the business at times. You have to make these decisions that in the short term seem a bit short-sighted because you're transferring off your best players. But it gives you the flexibility and the room to move for players that I think will fit the model of what Garth has in mind and Chris Henderson has in mind for the next 3 years, 4 years of what Atlanta United's going to be.
Yep. And then real quick shout out to Dax McCarty, Major League Soccer legend, retiring with Atlanta United, going on a little bit of a playoff run, ending it great. We'll see him a lot. I guess he's going to MLS season pass. He'll be an analyst. So we'll be hearing a lot from Dax McCarty, Orlando boy himself. So, always good to see. But you were saying that, yeah, it's kind of a shift. There's a shift in the tides over in Atlanta United as you had some big players departing, changing the model a little bit. And you could kind of tell from the signings that they made, some very special, important signings. So kind of walk us through all the new additions. And I know you're really excited for these because, yeah, they made some moves.
Yeah, it is funny because there was a lot of rumors swirling around. I know whenever Tagashi joined, everyone thought it was going to be the fellow from Celtic. I forget his name.
Kyogo
Furuhashi, yeah. And then we saw that, and I was like, Sagantosu, I know who that is. They got relegated to J2 last year because we're also rare D-Gens and we play J-League, right? But the one that I will call out, this is actually a summer transfer as well, is Pedro Amador. He's going to continue to be huge for this club. He's actually out for right now for a few weeks with a strained hamstring. But watch him. I think there's a lot of people that are really excited to see what he can continue doing. I know in Sorare his scores are, we could get to it a little bit, but his scores are pretty high. But that was also a system that I call it prevent defense, where it was Rob Valentino, and he was saying, hey, what if we don't possess the ball all the time? Whereas this is Ronnie Dale's team now, right? We have a new manager as well, and I don't think he's going to be as mandating of we need possession as Pineda was, but I think he is going to look to be on the front foot a bit more, as opposed to sitting back and hunkering down at times, which is what it felt like Rob was able to actually do best. So this will be fun. We'll see what when he's healthy to see how he thrives in a system where he is on the front foot more. He's also going to be looked at, in terms of the style of play. And when we talk about a lot of these players they brought in, there's a ton of speed. And one of the things that Dale has said, he wants to be great in transition. So look to this team for some strong countering, for some great fast play, for getting the ball upfield. This is what Moranchuk excels at, right? These through balls that he can put forward. And then you have someone as pacey as Saba, as pacey as Miguel Almiron, and as pacey as Latala that can actually go through, make the run, be on side, and then create a great opportunity. But just to run through these, so I'll start with Miggy. I mean, what can be said? What more can be said? He's a club legend for a short history. I was on the thought that he was going to end up at Charlotte when I heard he wasn't going to, and that he was probably going to end in Atlanta. I was so excited. What I didn't know actually was that Chris Henderson, who's the new technical director for Atlanta, he had scouted him as early as Seattle. He's been all aboard the Miggy train for a long time. And I think what he said was, as soon as he got into the position, we got to get Miguel back. So I think it's don't get me wrong. I don't know we're going to see the same Miguel, but I think we're going to see a more well-rounded player, someone that can track back and play defensively. I think it's going to be someone that is better in a lot of aspects of his game than whenever he went to the Premier League, right? And that's what gets me really excited. He loves the club. That's what we're looking for. People that really want to stay here for the long term. It's like a 4-year contract with an option, I think. I can't remember if there's an option. But he's going to be on the right wing. He's going to be playing all over the pitch in the first couple of friendlies. People almost said he was like a second number 10, which I think fits the mold of how he is as a player. Just really dynamic. We can talk about Manu Latale or Latte Loth. He is the pacey forward. He's our number 9, our new number 9. I think that was our biggest concern was, look, if we got Miggy, if we have Moranchuk, if we have Saba, who is going to be that number 9 that can actually be played those through balls too? He is someone that I feel like there's a lot of doubt around him because of his transfer fee. And so this is what I find a little funny is that with his transfer fee is a league record, breaking the record that Cincy set earlier in December. And my counter argument to that is, well, Atlanta has the money. They can spend the money. Like it's just business, right? If I have the money and I want the player, then I spend the money, I get the player. What's the deal? So yeah, like there's going to be someone that's like, oh, look, so-and-so that makes $2 an hour playing in the academy just came and scored a goal and Latte left didn't score today. Like, okay, but I think for the caliber of player, for someone that I think could honestly be playing in a Premier League club right now, this is a huge get. Yeah, I'm really excited to see what he can do.
No, it's kind of strange that you're saying that there's a lot of pushback on that signing. Like, it is a big number, but people have to realize he's in his prime of his career, and he was like really on the verge of going to a Premier League club. So that's a Premier League caliber player that you picked up, that you took from the Premier League, now coming to Atlanta United. Mix that in with Almiron, who is proven in MLS, knows the league, has been it before, and like you're saying, now has the Premier League experience, and just bringing it back to just add to his game. Those are really, really big signings. Out of these, Alex, do you think he will score a latte?
I'm not sure, just because of looking at his past numbers in the championship. I think that he has the potential to do well. I think that lack of AA is a little bit off-putting for me as a Sorare player. But with how dynamic this Atlanta attack is, he could stack decisives very easily, and the AA wouldn't be a problem. I think the pushback mostly is just from both the transfer be combined with the face value stats that he had, and people may be thinking, hey, this guy's not too good, 10 goals and was at 28 appearances. People would say oh, that's not that good, but he has the ability, and if you just go watch highlights of him, you can see that he's very, very quality striker. And as you guys were saying, Premier League caliber, ends up in MLS, and very good get. And I think he'll be worth the money.
I'm excited. Yeah, and the last person I'll mention here is Cleach, from DC United. This is just savvy business once again. This is what makes me so excited to have someone like Garth and someone like Chris Henderson who understand the rules of the league so well. DC is in a situation I think Atlanta was in a year ago, where they're trying to clean up their roster and their contracts that the previous front office administration had created. And now they're having to make some deals that in the short term don't necessarily look great, but in the long term for the club are going to be better. On the other end, right, Atlanta, huge win for them. They have basically 4 DPs at this point in time that are going to be on the roster to start the year. And they get Cleach for, I think it was less than $500,000 in terms of.
Yeah, it was 350 or something like that,
which is insane.
Crazy cheap.
It was just this is what I'm so excited about having Chris Henderson here, is that he really understands the ins and outs of the league so well. He's able to pull off some pretty wild transfers, like bringing Messi to the league along with the rest of Barcelona. But it's going to be fun to watch. And, I think this is going to be a team that if things aren't working, they're going to figure out a way to move around it. Ronnie, the manager, Dela, I've wanted him since summer. I think whenever I was ready to part ways with Pineda, probably a month prior before it happened, I said, look, he's available. We should get him. I couldn't believe we actually made it happen. So it's just a lot of just I didn't think it was going to happen and it happened, which just gets me more and more excited for the season. I do want to try and stay in my seat here because I think last year I came on this show and I said this is the best roster Atlanta's had in 5 years.
I drank that Kool-Aid.
And then we saw what happened. So I'm not gonna sit there and make any grandiose claims right here, but I do think this is a great team. I think it's a team that wants to be here for the long run. So I'm excited.
Yeah, I mean that's basically it. It's where like, hey, if we can make it happen right now, and like it's no guarantees, like you said, but the writings are on the wall. You have MLS talent, Premier League talent. Like it is, if at any time, it's going to be now. But Alex, how are they going to do it? How are they going to achieve this magical run to MLS Cup, and how are they going to make sure that we are on the podium on our Sorare scores?
What we're going to need to do. We got to first look at set piece takers. This is where you're going to get your decisive opportunities. So looking at last year, this is not including any guys that left. Obviously, Almada would have been on this list, but he's gone. Lennon got kicked off sets about halfway through the year when Moranchuk came in. Saba and Moranchuk both took over, kind of split it. But one good note is that Almadon took a lot of the corners back in the 2 seasons he was at Atlanta. And so watch out for that. For him to maybe get some corners, Thomas, what do you think the situation is going to be with that?
Yeah, this is still a big question mark for me too. I think on the friendly I watched, or some of the clips I saw this past week or weekend, it looked like Saba was on one corner on the left side of the pitch, and then Moranchuk, I would assume, would still be on the right, but I didn't get to watch the game, just the highlights. I could also see it to where, they're switching out and one of the three are sitting outside the 18 and maybe they cross it to outside the box so they can just take a, big hit outside the 18 and see if it goes in because they got the potential. So we'll see. I think, don't catch your ducks when it comes to saying this person taking sets. I think it's going to be a committee.
Yeah, well, when you have weapons like that and they all have a mean foot, and dude, Pedro Amador too, man, he can swing in a ball, like from open play or whatever. Like there is a foot on him too. So hey, take them where you can get them, and hope they all hit.
And then going to free kicks, very similar. Again, Lennon got kicked off sets, so don't think that he's going to have any sets this season, especially with Almadon coming in. Now, you were saying that you don't think that Almadon will be on free kicks, and you still think it'll be probably Saba with a mix of Moranchuk.
I can see. Well, I think it'll be more Moranchuk. I think that's who I definitely expect to be on the sets. They're also both left-footed, so I don't know in terms of attacking sets in the final third. I don't know if they want Miggy on the left side to swing the ball in for a header from one of our center backs or someone, or if they're going to have both of them take direct sets. It's not. Like I said, we have 3 left-footed attackers. So that's going to create some question marks around who's going to take the set when it's all kind of coming in the same direction.
Yeah. Makes it hard for the opposing team to figure it out or plan for something too. Just like it could literally be any of them. Like, I don't know, just close your eyes and hope for the best, I guess.
Yeah, and I think because of that, maybe we see Brooks when he's back healthy go on some sets again, or maybe that's Amador taking some attacking sets, because I think towards the end of last year, Amador was taking, if you actually look at attacking set pieces last year, Amador took about 14% of them in the final third.
Yeah, I remember those.
And then I didn't have it here, but last year Moranchuk took all 3 penalties while he was here. Do you think that he's going to keep those penalties, or do you think it's going to go to Latte Las?
Not sure.
Not sure.
I could also see it going to Miggy.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Maybe for the vibes and the culture.
I mean, Latte might be on some hat tricks, so maybe he'll need those penalties to get the hat tricks throughout the year. So that might be the case.
Atlanta has too many weapons.
But
sadly,
that's what this is telling me right now. Like, oh no.
But based on previous information, Moranchuk was taking penalties, just from what we know.
Yes.
So that's our best guess.
We'll see. As the season goes on, we'll learn more, and of course, Thomas will always be here to give us the scoop. But with this information, and obviously you said Pedro Amador is already out to start the season. Brooks Lennon is just coming back from injury too. So it's going to be a little dicey. Thomas, as far as your stack for the season, what are you kind of thinking if someone did decide to stack Atlanta United? How would you kind of tackle it?
Yeah, so we can, there's obviously only one goalie choice, Bradley Gazan, the GOAT. He is back for another year. I think this is officially the final year of his current contract. There are no options. There's nothing.
Heard that before.
There's no
you'll be
dotted line,
surprised.
no hidden ink. Like it's this is potentially the last season, but I'm not going to say it is because he is eternal. So Brad Gazan in goal. This is a season. If this is a season stack, I'm probably going with Pedro Amador.
Okay.
I think he just really has some exceptional crossing ability. I think that he has hopefully some great link up play with whoever's playing on the left wing, whether that is Saba or Shande or someone else. As for you got most of it right here. Yeah, as for the midfielder, I think you have to go with Moranchuk because of his potential to be on sets, to be on penalties. He's going to be playing through balls in. It may not necessarily be the through ball that leads to the assist, right? It could be a through ball that then is picked up by Miggy, who then assists Latte, but it's still going to create a lot of dangerous plays. I expect him to have some great AA. And then for the forward, Latte, you have to. I think that's just it's maybe we'll see if he's going to be the 100. I don't know if he's going to have the AA like you were mentioning before. But then you have to pair him with Miggy, who I think is going to be all over the pitch. And so there's a lot of decisives and AA potential right there. So I think the biggest question really would be just who do you play in that center back pairing or that center back or that defensive position? There could be weeks where it actually might make more sense to even put someone in like Stian Gregerson or Derek Williams. And the other thing I'll mention too is if you remember from Dela's New York FC team, that was when Callens was just like this set piece header machine. So I almost wonder if someone like Gregerson is going to end up becoming that type of potential, like similar to kind of how Walker Zimmerman is, where lots of set piece potential on corners, but also just a lot of great AA because that did happen for Gregerson at times last season.
Yeah, Gregerson's an interesting piece. Even when he came in last year, you could tell there's something there. If he could just stay healthy, question mark.
Yeah.
That's the biggest thing. But yeah, there is a lot of people that could put in a mean ball on this team. So if you're saying that Gregerson's one that can capitalize on that, that's definitely something to look out forward to. And I like it. Alex, how about you? Or do you agree? Is this your stack? You're going with the Thomas stack to glory?
Yeah, I have to agree with that. My only question would be who would be like your day one defender, maybe cheaper that with Amador being out, who would
Yeah, I would probably go for Gregerson. I think Gregerson was out this weekend because he was doing some visa stuff. And so that's why he was out. So I would probably go with him because I know he has also like he's been better on sets and heading the ball in. So there's a younger left back too, but I think I'm not sure if he's going to get a week one start, but I think in terms of just the potential right there, yeah, Gregerson.
There you go. Start off with a little Gregerson, switch over to Amador, maybe Lennon. We'll see. And then, yeah, Latte Loth. When he does get his MLS cards, he will definitely be in that mix as well. I like it. Alex, do you have anything else?
No, I think we touched on everything. This is going to be an exciting stack this year. It's going to be probably on paper, probably the most improved roster from last season to this season.
That's saying a lot because MLS has gone crazy with transfers this season. A lot of teams look a lot different. It has been very exciting. Look, even SKC brought in people. Thomas, do you have anything else? Is there anything else that you maybe want to hit on that the people need to know for this Atlanta United Stackeroonie?
Let me get him first on the market.
There you go. Get out of Thomas's way. Let him get all the good number ones, all the fancy cards, and then the rest of y'all could pick up the scraps. But as always, this has been another 2025 Major League Soccer preview. We'll be back with the rest of the teams. There's a whole 30 of them. We'll be trying to bring in all the guests, all the fun stuff. And the season's around the corner. Good luck in the markets as the cards release a day after this is recorded. And we vibe. We'll see you on the next one.